Yeah, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the day two session of 1 week professional development program on mastering edge analytics and prompt engineering for innovation in teaching and learning, organized by Department of Computer Science and Engineering and IEEE Student Branch SMC. I, Dr. R. Sai Sindhu Teja, Associate Professor from the Department of CSE. It's my privilege to introduce today's esteemed resource person, Dr. Sanju M. Tiwari ma'am, a distinguished professor at Sharda University, Greater Noida, India. She is a leading researcher in artificial intelligence, ontology engineering, knowledge graphs, and linked data. Dr. Sanju M. Tiwari has a rich international academic background, having served as a DAAD postdoc.NET AI Fellow from Germany in the year 2021 and conducted academic visits to several German universities in the year 2022. She was also a postdoctoral researcher at Universidad Politécnica de Madrid, Spain in the year 2019. She currently serves as user board chair for the ORKG grant program at TIB Hanover, a Google Summer of Code mentor at DBpedia, and a PhD co-supervisor at Ra University and Symbiosis Institute of Technology. She has also contributed to a DRDO sponsored defense project at NIT Kurukshetra. With over 100 research publications and 6 Scopus indexed books, she plays a key role in international conferences, SCI, and Scopus indexed journals and Women in Tech initiatives. Her research has taken her to 7 countries like India, Spain, Portugal, Germany, Austria, France, and Indonesia. She frequently shares her insights on All India Radio Lucknow and Panama Radio. Ma'am, we are truly delighted to have you with us today, ma'am. Welcome to this session. Sanju Tiwari,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
thank you,
Thank you
ma'am.
so
Welcome
much
to the
for
session,
inviting.
ma'am.
First of all, I would like to thank to the whole team for inviting and especially Dr. Jabbar, who is always counting me in the task. So this is
Yeah, ma'am.
not the first talk of Vardhaman Engineering College. In fact, I have collaborated in many events. So it's always a pleasure to be to be here, and thank you so much. So good evening, everyone. I would like to share my PPT first.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So give me a minute. I will share the PPT. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, ma'am. We can see it.
Okay.
Yeah, ma'am.
So today I'm going to speak about transforming sustainability through knowledge graph intelligence. That is a part of artificial intelligence, and also very helpful in teaching and learning. As a new topic, I recommend to go with this because we are on using knowledge graph, but we don't know about what it is. Recently, I gave a talk in Bangalore, and when I asked the students that what is knowledge graphs, everyone told I don't know. We didn't work with it. But I told that I'm pretty sure and I'm 100% sure that you are using the knowledge graph. Google, you are using the knowledge graph. So I will highlight this topic. So first of all, namaste to all. I am Dr. Sanju Tiwari. I am a teacher by passion, researcher by choice, mentor by demand, and collaborator by nature. That is, these 4 lines introduce me. And I am very thankful to a nice introduction. So thank. So today, the content that I'm going to cover, I will try to cover, although it is lengthy, but I will short to cover it in the 1 hour. So there are 2 parts. Part 1 will cover the introduction about the knowledge graph, graph and graph database. Part 2 will cover about the technology behind the knowledge graph. So Before going, just a quick overview about my academic profile that I would like to share here, although it is already introduced. So I have two postdocs. First is from Spain and second is from Germany. And PhD, I have done PhD on the topic of an ontology approach for unstructured data, some diplomas and certification also. These are some achievements that I have gone through with 2021 and 2022. I was selected as a DAT postdoc.net in 2020 and also a PhD degree awarded and books also. These are some academic role like professor at Sarda University, researcher at TIB Hanover, and many other roles are there. Research publications like I have published many journal papers, conference papers, book chapter, and so on, and also project deliverables. I have worked with one international project and one national project. So these are some project details that I have worked. These are some scientific services that I am working as journal chair, program chair, workshop chair, and quickly I am the member of CSI, IEEE, and ACM. These are some academic mentorship that I always mentoring student, and also these are some collaboration with university and industry. So we all know this is the topic is related under the theme of sustainable knowledge graph. So I have just put a picture here. So basically the topic that what are the knowledge graphs. So as we all know, if we are giving a normal text, and there is nothing about that, so scattered text, it is difficult to recognize that what it is. Is it an animal or is it a human being or something? So data without relationship has very little context. If it doesn't have attribute, it doesn't have any relationships, then it is hard to identify what about we are talking. So it's basically, it's not the raw numbers, it's the relationship behind them. You can see in the both figures. If you can see like how one people is connected with the home, with the trolley, with the other things, that is more meaningful rather than to scattered pictures that there are no meanings about them, that how they related with another picture. So let's go about the data knowledge graph. So here you can see like this is the data in this diagram very nicely explained that this is the scattered data. They are not related with each other. It can be anything, which kind of entity, which kind of relationship we cannot identify in this. But when we have including the relationship, you can see that one node, it is connected with another node, and then it is connected with another node, and then and further and so on, and making a graph. So it seems a dynamic context, and it's providing the information that if X is this, then X is related with Y, Y is related with Z, Z is related with so on. And when it has semantics, that what labeling of the data, which node is doing what, and how it is connected with another node, with the relationship, with the properties mentioned over there, that gives the meaning. Then it constructs the knowledge graph, that deep dynamic context. So just a simple example, like I am telling a teacher teach a student. So we can say, or we cannot say. So here teacher teach student. There are two entities. Teacher is an entity, student is an entity, and both are related with a relationship that is teach. Doctor treats patient. So doctor and patient both are entities, but they are interrelated with a relationship treat. If we remove the treat relationship, if we remove the teach relationship, no meaning about the doctor, no meaning about the patient. They are individual, they are isolated entities, but they don't have any relationship. We cannot get a complete information if they are somehow related with each other. So this is the idea behind the knowledge graph, to relate the entities, to infer the hidden data, hidden knowledge between the relationship, to construct the graph in the form of triples. How triples? Like teacher teach student. So this is a triple, teacher student entity, and they are related with this teach relationship. So there is a triple, subject, predicate, object. Subject is related with object with the relationship that is called predicate. So this is the idea behind the knowledge graph. We will understand more deep and how it is helpful. So if you remember old Google, I will give you example and see next slides. But just imagine in 2011, 2010, 2005, if you ask what is the capital of India, so you will get there some links to find out and explore. But today, if you're writing this question on the Google, you are getting directly in answer. That is the New Delhi. So how? I told you that you all are using knowledge graph. It's not new. Google is a knowledge graph. Facebook is a knowledge graph. Always recommending the big thing. You are finding the people from LinkedIn. Very useful. Everyone is on LinkedIn. Everyone, most of all of you have your account on Facebook. They are knowledge graphs because entities are connected with each other, and in this way you are finding the recommendation, you are finding the suggestions, and you also finding that like you are connected with one of the relative or one of the colleague or one of the friend. It is suggesting with other that are related with them. So in this way, like knowledge graph also helpful for making efficient queries. So how, like which genes regulate which pathway? This is just an example, and there is a query written here, like SQL query you are using. This is a Neo4j cipher query to find the answer of this question. So in this way, knowledge graphs are helpful to generate the queries. Basically, graphs data science answer the big questions, critical questions, hidden information. So really, and what is the key behind these relationships? Really, just with the relationship, every entity is going to connect another entity, and then you are getting the answer that is not directly your question, but you can get it. So basically, what's important, what's unusual, what's going to happen, uncertain, that you don't know that this data is modeled here or not modeled, but you can make some queries that are there is information is available because of the linking of the nodes. So there are some different graph algorithms working behind this, like path finding, search, centrality, and they are categorized like page rank. You have always listened about these type of. I'm not going to explain each of them, but many of them you already have listened that how they work. Community detector, heuristic approach, and a similarity graph embedding like node to vector, graph sage, and these are the some graph algorithm. So basically, how it is works when machine learning involves. So which model is the best for you, and how to supply your data. So there are label data, features, and node classification, property regression, and link protection. These are very common things in graph if you are talking about the graph. So what label should this node have? You have one node, and what labeling will you, teacher, student, whatever, what labeling we are going to. So this is very important. Property regression, how this property will be related with another property. Are there some properties missing? The value of this property is missing, and what should be this value? Then link prediction, how these nodes can be like here, these are nodes, how this node will be related with another node. So these are very important things, that label data, pairs of nodes that are either linked or not. Features, pre-existing attributes, algorithm results, and embeddings. So basically how work, this was the graph. And now how, if we are talking about the semantics. So what is the semantics? So suppose I, I told one word, tank, another word, jaguar. So which type of thing, which type of things in your mind? So like tank, there can be a water tank, there can be a army tank, missile tank, there can be a sewer tank, there can be a jaguar, that is a bike, that is a vehicle, and jaguar is an animal also. So how to differentiate both? We can differentiate by the picture, but how can machine differentiate this thing? How we can make the machine understandable data? So semantics, this word is emphasized to differentiate, to disambiguate the meaning of text. meaning of data, and that can be interpreted by machines. So you can save your time, searching time. You can save your managing modeling of data. Like suppose if you are searching a jaguar, so there will be, like if you talk old, as I told you, so if you have all the mixed data, then it will take uh, more time to find the exact one. You are searching for vehicle, but you are getting the animal information also. So your search should be specific, semantic based. That if you need vehicle, then it should only return vehicle information, not any other information. So this type of things are done by including the semantics. And it was started, it's not new, controlled vocabularies like synonyms, then taxonomy, then thesaurus, and then take the form of ontology. Nowadays, it is called ontology. The backbone of the semantic web, the backbone of knowledge graph is ontology. I will explain you. So there are some techniques like entity resolution, finding the entities, then labeling, classification, and tagging, and then applying the artificial intelligence for retrieving the data, extraction of the data. So, sorry. So more specifically, if you are going to talk like what is semantics? So semantics comes from an ancient Greek term, semantikos, meaning significant. It is the study of reference, meaning, or truth. So basically provide the meaning of data in simpler. Knowledge graphs, what are the knowledge graphs? An ambiguous graph with a limited set of relation used to label the ages that encodes the provenance, especially justification and attribution of the assertion. You can understand very simple graph. There is Paris, capital of France. So Paris is an instance of city. France is an instance of city, or you can say a country. Not and what is the relation between both of them? That is capital of Paris is capital of France. So machine can also interpret that this Paris is the capital of France. We are talking about the capital of France, not any other, because Paris, maybe Paris, name of some place, some hotel. So this is not about the hotel. This is about the capital. So what is a graph? Now you can see in this diagram, you can understand more better that email, this is the labeling, sent to person, person and email is the entity, and they are connected with another node with the property. So this sentence, you can see that we send email to people so they will visit our website and buy our product. This sentence is generated in a graph. And it is more representative, more specific, that person purchased product, product sold on website, person visited website, and email sent to person. So a graph is a visual abstraction that describes how different things are connected. So the idea behind the graph to connecting the things. Now here you can see that yellow circle part is they are nodes, and sent, purchased, visited, sold on, they are the properties. In fact, they are relationship. So graph are composed by nodes plus relationship, and where nodes representing the entities and relationship connect the entities. So graph use cases, why we use graph? So for customer like in sales and all these things, recommendation engines, marketing attribution, enterprise search, fraud detection, master data management, supply chain, geolocation, access and asset control, social network, that Facebook, knowledge graph, IT and network. Wherever you have to model your data in an efficient way, you can use the graph. So what is a graph database? Basically, a database is specifically designed for creating, storing, and querying the graph. So semantic representation, this was the semantic representation. This is the physical representation, that in the form of query. How to make the graph. So this is Neo4j code. I will not go to explain in deep. So you can see now you can understand that which you can find that which which graphs you are already using. So Facebook, it is $402 billion entities here, and Airbnb, Palantir, Uber, LinkedIn, and they are moving to the graph. They are also converting in the graph like Amazon, eBay, Walmart. So these are some use cases. These are some examples that are that they are based on the knowledge graph. So sustain graph is a knowledge graph that is from United Nations, and it is like the data silos to manage the graph, to make nodes, and then including the semantic alignment, and then forming a knowledge graph. So here, what is Sustain Graph is an open source project that aims to develop a software platform for measuring and visualizing the sustainability of various systems, such as organizations, supply chain, and cities. This project utilizes various data sources and sustainability metrics to ultimately provide insights and recommendations for improving sustainability performance. So basically, there are many people are involved in this graph, and the main aim to act a unified source of truth for information related to SDGs that is available for everyone. And they are using graph database and exploitation of natural language processing and machine learning technique for data population, knowledge production, and analysis. So this is the whole form of the graph that they have used and they have formed. So 17 goals are here, and then they are tracking by the indicator sets and some other entities, agenda, and many are the things that are available. I cannot explain in deep. This is another group, another knowledge graph, that is ESG, and this is also for sustainability. They are also using the knowledge graph technology and created a knowledge graph schema. This is Copla ontology, that is for that is created by as a companion planting ontology, and it fulfills some research questions like core concept of the task of companion planting, decision support, and many other research questions are there. So they are live and real applications of knowledge graph. This is a conceptualization. You can see how they are categorizing classes and relationship nodes and entities, and they are further connected with each other. So basically, this was a small overview like about the knowledge graph. But what exactly working behind the knowledge graph and ontology? Like the last few slides, you have listening continuously. Now I'm moving. So in this diagram, we can see that artificial intelligence have many subfields like machine learning, deep learning, natural language processing, robotics, knowledge representation. So this theme to representing knowledge in an efficient way, in a structured way, we use the ontology, we use these terms like semantic web, knowledge graphs. So this part come under the knowledge representation. So from where these terms started. So as we all know that WWW, World Wide Web, has been introduced, and as a web 1.0, it was static, the content web, and then 2.0 introduced some social web like Facebook, YouTube, and more interactive than first one. Then web 3.0 applications are relatively small, but data is in cloud. Applications are distributed virally. Open communication applications are fast and customized and can run any device, the web 3.0. But the major feature was that involved semantics. And now Web 4.0, you can see that chatbots are running agent-based. So this way, World Wide Web was extended in different forms. But still, there are some problems. There were some problems, in fact, that It was a system of interlinked hypertext document. There, what was there, that some web pages are connected by as a document, not data, and it links document to document by using HTML, so that it was called web of documents. And this document, the content was readable, human readable, but not machine understandable. Machine cannot differentiate that jaguar is an animal or jaguar is a vehicle. So also lacking for the standardization. There were incompatibilities between browsers. It also lacks expressivity because there were no sufficient semantics and no reasoning is possible over data. You cannot make query in HTML, that is still in the problem. So there were some extension, and XML is introduced, but that was also not able to make the queries. So semantic web was launched as an extension of the World Wide Web to provide a transparent, open, and decentralized internet. That the motive behind this to represent data, not only documents. And it is formed in different concepts. You can find out like link data, open data, fair data, knowledge graph, and presented as web of data rather than web of documents. So then semantic web. Now I will highlight some about the semantic web. Basically, in the classical web, it was a study, it was syntax. For this, syntax is the study of the structure of sign system, focusing on the form, not on the not the meaning. Semantic refers to aspect of, while on the other side, semantic refer to aspect of meaning as expressed in language or other system of sign. As I already explained that disambiguate the meaning of data, semantics refer to the aspect of meaning. So basically, ontology is the technique in the to implement the semantic web. Ontologies are presented as a backbone of the semantic web. They classify the entities with their explicit meaning. Like teacher has name, teacher has age, teacher has institution, teacher has these. So these attributes will be different than a student or than a doctor. So in this way, it will have explicit meaning. And there are several recommendations such as RDF, RDFS, Web Ontology Language, OWL, Sparkle, and many more. The main idea behind this to allow sharing and interaction between heterogeneous data sources, a strong reasoning ability for logic inferences. So now, if we think that database also managing the data, so why we need ontology? When databases are there, why you need to model the data? Modeling another. So there are ontology focuses on meaning, while databases focuses on data. It doesn't mean you will, whatever you will save inside the databases, it will return you by the SQL query. Syntax of ontology is based on logics, while databases are based on ER diagrams. A strong focus on semantics in ontology, minimal focus on semantics. Expressed by classes, properties, individuals, axioms, while in databases, expressed by entities, attributes, relations, and constraints. The beauty of ontology, you can reuse if once created. But in databases, Scratch rarely used. You can join two tables, but you cannot reuse one table in another table. So this is the difference between the ontologies and databases. Now, defining ontologies. What are the ontologies? So Gruber has defined in 1993 that what is the what are the ontologies? So it is a formal explicit specification of a shared conceptualization. So formal specification provides machine readability with computational semantics, while explicit and unambiguous meaning, unambiguous terminology definition. shared commonly accepted understanding and conceptual model of a domain ontological theory. So more simply, I would like to explain about the ontology, how it is explained. So here you can see like schema, terminology box in the first circle. In the second circle, instances, that is a box. So this representing the attribute while this representing the schema. So all classes like writing and subclasses are over there, but their attribute name like year, name of novel, and all these things are here. So in this way, modeling the data like writing is related with the person, and person can be an author, person can be a translator. So one entity is related with another entity by using the properties, and the instances of these entities are stored here. So this picture is describing about the entities, about the instances, and about the relationship. So in this way, ontology modeled. Some examples are like disease ontology. You can say like if you are searching bacteria infectious disease, so you can get all the information here about the bacteria, like its definition, its name, its ID, its subsets, its parents. So that means this is the bacterial infectious disease. We are talking about this bacterial infectious disease, nothing else. And this is true. And the same is SNOMED CT. They are medical disease ontologies that are already used in real application. So basically, how we will define, how we will model the semantic modeling of data. So basically, the defining the meaning of data within the context of its relationship with other data, and provides the machine readability to the web sources. This also give the well-defined schemata. You can see that the diagram that I have shown you previous slide, it already given that where the schema and where the instances, and it also express the meaning of data. So basically, explicit semantic is missing in many structured resources, in fact in databases. How? I can show you here. So can we say that what is it? Is it a semantic model? Can anyone answer this question? Is it a semantic model? Can you hear me? I am audible to all of you.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay. So anyone can give me answer that is it semantic model or not?
Oh, ma'am.
Please speak loudly. I think you are giving the correct answer. Yes or no? Can you please repeat?
Yes,
It is
ma'am.
not an
Yes,
exam.
ma'am.
It is not an exam. Don't hesitate to answer me. Just playing, just checking your attention.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's see what is the answer. Oh, it's no. It's a table, and how it is related. Can you relate that name is related with designation here? Any relation is there? Any connectivity is there that I explained in the previous diagram? But the same thing is here. So, but here you can see that name person has two attribute: name, age, person has location and location, and everything is connected with each other. So this is a graph form and this is a semantic model, but this is not a semantic model. This is a fixed format of a database that we are using and we are inputting the data. But here we can model according to our requirement. It depends on me total that how can I model this model. So this graph. So this is a network. This is a graph. This is a called semantic model. And then we transform it as an ontology, and then we populate it as a knowledge graph. So like how it is in code, how can we write that person has name is string and the value is Rama. Person has age, data type and value is 40. Person has location, another entity. So there is entity to entity relationship, entity to data relationship. In this way, more clear, domain specific, if we talk domain specific. So here you can see, like, can you find the place of writer of writer of the book Wings of Fire? Can you get the answer with this modeling of data? Exactly, because there are two questions. First, we need to find out the writer of Wings of Fire and then the birthplace of that writer. So you can see this is modeled here and they are connected, like Sir Abdul Kalam is writer of Wings of Fire and born in Rameshwaram. So when our data is modeled accordingly, then we can make query as that modeling. So it is easy to find out this information because our data is modeled like that as a graph, although it is a specific domain specific. So what techniques can work behind this? So languages, tools to edit, there are some languages, resource description framework schema, web ontology language, and DAML ontology inference language, and editing. There are many tools. Protege is open source. They are licensed tools. Query language, Sparkle is very common language that is used behind to extract the knowledge. Rule languages, semantic web rule languages, rule markup languages are other query languages. And there are some reasoners to reason to run your queries, that is Paylet, Hermit, Pack, and many more. So basically, what was the difference behind the HTML and XML? So as XML concentrating about layout, while HTML concentrating about the layout, while XML concentrated on the content. But the similarity, both presenting within documents only. And there were no association among different resources. Like I have shown you in the previous diagram, that person is connected with location. So there are two different resources and they are interconnected. But this was not in HTML, neither in XML. And that's why it was not very efficient to find the exact answer, because they only presenting the perspective aspect, not descriptive aspect. So then resource description framework is introduced as an extension over HTML and XML. And it is presented as triplet form. Teacher teaches student. This is a triple. A strong relationship between two resources. All teachers come under the teacher category. All students come under the student category when we populate our data. We have 4,000 students. We have 400 teachers. They will be one category, they will be in the teacher entity, and the student will be populated in the student entity. So this is and there will be a common relationship. So how this work like three types: subject, property, object, subject, property, value, value, property, value. So there are three relationships: SPO, OPV, value, and value, property, value. When we are relating entity to another entity, it is called subject, property, object. When we are entity connected with value, it is called object, property, value. And value, David has age 24. Both are the value. They cannot be categorized further. So more better example, here you can see that we are defining one person, Oscar. Name is Oscar, title is doctor, role is professor, role is PI. That means we are talking about a human, not a pet, because sometimes Oscar is an award, Oscar can be a pet, Oscar can be a TV, and many more. But here context is about a person, because person is a professor. So this is giving a explicit meaning of data and relations, and it always have a link. So I will not take many time in this because I have many things to explain. So you can see here that set of resources. Oscar Corcho is a professor. David, Paula, Shaurya, they are the PhD student. Oscar is supervisor of David. Oscar is supervisor of Paula. These are the relationship. So this was this gives powerful Formalism to represent classes of object and their property in form of ontology. So these are some ontology methodology tools, languages that are already available. If you want to go, you can find out this paper. And how it goes to knowledge graphs. So first it started from pre-text tag, then control list, then taxonomy, and then ontology. And finally, the capture related data, integration of structured and unstructured information. Basically, the schema level comes to the ontology and the populated of data level comes to the knowledge graph. So the first era, knowledge graph introduced as a third era. The first era was a procedural era where are the raw data, procedural code, and programs providing the answer with explanation. Then machine learning era is introduced when raw data answers machine learning and you are getting the rules and in the form of rules. After then knowledge graph era. So raw data along with the machine learning, creating graph, and you are getting the knowledge answers along with the explanation. This is very nicely explained by Don McRae. Now here, knowledge graph as third era. So how? Like this, if you see this one, NE27, we don't know what is NE, what is 27. We can read. Although as a human, I can check that our mind, we can use our sense and we can, but machine cannot use sense. Machine only interpret whatever you have input. So machine is failed here to interpret. While here, name is any, age is 17, machine is also successful to interpret. So if we are giving the data with its meaning, it will be more easier to interpret the mean by the machine. So YKGs to provide the structured information, human readability in a form of graph, like it is that this is the UML, this is the unstructured text, and by including them, we are making the graph that is more understandable. So knowledge graphs were introduced in 2012 and increasing attention from both academia and industry. The main idea behind knowledge to introduce the knowledge graph to enable machines to better organize, reason, understand, and explain the information. Some of the well-known general purpose knowledge graphs include DBpedia, Yago, Freebase, Wikidata, and the Chinese Ling. And some are the linguistic like WordNet, BabelNet, linguistic linked open data. So different scientists, researchers have giving this different information. Like Singhal has announced the knowledge graph things not strings in 2012. Lisa Wolfram has explained that knowledge graphs acquires and integrates information into ontology and applied a reasoner to derive new knowledge. Then Kingsley has introduced like a collection of entities, entity types, and entity relationship types that manifest as an intelligent web of data informed by an ontology. So this is one of the example, like this is a schema label, entity schema, or you can say this is the top box is for ontology, and that second box is for entity description. So our knowledge graph, when you are populating the instances, that comes under the knowledge graph. So there are many definitions are given different researchers. And these are some popular knowledge graphs that DBpedia 2007 introduced, Freebase 2008, Yago introduced, 2012 Wikidata, and some commercial like Google Knowledge Graph in 2012, Microsoft Graph in 2015, 16 LinkedIn, 2013 Facebook Graph, and Yahoo, and many more. So there are two types of graphs, RDF graph that is based on the semantic web technology that I already explained, but there is one or more property graph that is based on graph databases like Neo4j. So one of the example, very good example, like I have a query, buy bath soap and online. And you can see I am using the old Google, and what you are getting here, you are getting only links because at that time there were no knowledge graph technique behind this. This was the totally based on the document, but here you can see the same query, buy bath soap online. What is the difference between both of them? We are getting the answer here also, we are getting the answer here also. But there is annotated information. We are getting the picture, the price, company, and description. This is the difference that search before knowledge graph and now search after knowledge graph. This is the current Google. So it is easy to find the things with their descriptions. And write the name of Wings of Fire book, writer name of Wings of Fire book. So you are getting one more example. You are getting the writer name, writer links, many links of there. But now you are getting directly the writer name. This is the difference of without KG and without knowledge graph and with knowledge graph. So these are the best examples that I can show you. I can explain you for the knowledge graphs. So these are the application: keyword search, question answering, simple information needs, and predictable search behavior, structured query, demand for absolute precision answer, specification of complex information, and more automated semantic interpretation. So basically, what steps are involved in the construction of a knowledge graph? You can see this is the unstructured form, data acquisition, aligning in a meaningful way, then feature extraction, what is the entity, what is the node and edges, what will be the entity, what will be the relationship, then aligning them in a particular relations, and then entity resolution, that which entity is related what in what way, and finally making the graph and user interface so that user interact and search the query. Some other also, they also have giving more easy steps like data ingestion, finding the data preparation by removing the noisy data, and then finding the entity and linking, merging them. Then knowledge refinement, that error detection, fact verification, and then publishing and search. So this is the knowledge graph for Astra that one of my student has created for missile knowledge graphs and connected. And Astra is the meaning Astra in Hindi word. So he has created and he has run this type of queries that are not available on the Google, but here this knowledge graph can answer. So that is an example, and still there are some challenges like dynamic knowledge. A huge knowledge is available, a huge data is available, entity disambiguation, incompleteness, knowledge assessment, privacy and security, coverage and freshness. I will skip this part because we cannot go for ontology modeling. So these are some related papers that I have published a book in semantic models, and this is a review paper, and this is also a book, personal knowledge graph, and many events that already have completed. They have to come in the 2025, and these are some supervision student that I am doing currently, and these are some future direction. I am seeking a student who can work in neurosymbolic AI for better reasoning, along with the some global sustainability network. If you are interested to work in AI in sustainability, so this is my contact, and there are some glimpses with that fellows that when I was in NIT Kurukshetra, it was the Hindi Divas when German students were there as a DAT postdoc DAT fellows, and they want to wear the Indian dress, so I helped them to get it. And that's the opposite, that I was in Germany as a DAT, the postdoc net. So these are some glimpses over there. These some my tasks, organizing the conferences and the international visits. She is the Vice Chancellor of University of Lübeck here in Germany and Indonesia and many countries. I have last year, this is the biggest achievement that I have presented India. I have represented India for the digital twin status of India in Barcelona in 2024. And these are the some event visits. Finally, he's my son, and thank you so much. So for listening me, I am open to have the queries so that I have the 8 minutes still, so that you can, I will be happy to answer your questions if you have queries. That's why I finish it timely and I skip some parts of the content because it will take another 30-40 minutes.
Thank you, ma'am. Any queries from the participants? Any queries from the participants?
Feel free to ask if you have any query regarding this topic. Or you can write in the chat box.
Participants, am I audible? Am I audible?
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am, you are audible, ma'am.
Yeah. Just kindly switch on the camera so that we can take screenshots. Thank you. Ma'am, someone is asking question in chat box, ma'am. Kindly check it once.
Can you please read it because I cannot see any question here.
Just a minute, ma'am. Metadata in XML and metadata description, please. This was the question asked by someone, ma'am.
Can you please explain you more about this question? Because what do you mean by metadata in XML? And what do you
someone
want?
has kept a text in
Yes,
chat,
yes.
ma'am.
But in what context he is asking? Can you please unmute
Syed?
yourself?
Syed? Mr. Syed? Arun sir, are we given access to the participants?
Yes,
If
ma'am.
they can speak?
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Syed, please kindly speak. Or else you can elaborate the question in chat box itself so that we can read it to ma'am. Yeah, you can elaborate the question.
I can see the question. I can see the question. But metadata description, basically metadata is the information about any entity. So if an entity will have its own information, that is all annotation, that is called annotation. It is providing the metadata of a particular entity that is disambiguating with another entity. Like vehicle will have different characteristics while animal will have different characteristics. So the metadata will be different of animal and metadata will be different for vehicle. So this is the metadata description.
Mr. Syed, is that okay? Ma'am, still he's writing, ma'am.
Yes, let him write. Yeah, let him write, please.
Only that much. Okay. Ma'am, he's thanking by, he said that he mentioned that he got it and
Okay.
he's just thanking you. I think we can wind up.
Okay. Okay, welcome. Welcome.
Yeah, Dr. Sindhu, you can just thank ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. On behalf of organizing committee and all the participants, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Sanju M. Tiwari ma'am for delivering such an insightful and engaging session on transforming sustainability through knowledge graph intelligence. Your expertise and thought-provoking insights have truly inspired us and provided valuable perspectives on harnessing knowledge graphs, the graph algorithms, construction of knowledge graphs, the semantic web over www, and the backbone of semantics and knowledge graphs is ontology, you have said, and sustainable graphs for knowledge graphs for sustainable transformation. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you once again for sharing your time and knowledge with us. We look forward to staying and connected and
Thank you.
exploring future collaborations with you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for inviting. I can see the some of my colleagues have joined from Sharda University also, Mr. Bhavesh Kumar Sharma. Thank you for joining, and many other. Thank you everyone for being here and listening me and making an interactive session by asking the question. If you have any question further, you can connect with me. Thank you, Soumya. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Shanti ma'am. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr.